What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network. As always, my name is Neal Ruhl. You know this dude, Joique Bell, former Detroit Lion great. D-Mac, Darren McCarty, multiple-time Stanley Cup champion. Happy to have you with us. We are live on location. We're at Detroit Manufacturing Systems. They're doing a big company rebrand. They got food out here. They got a DJ. The Rick Ross was bumping earlier. I'm a big rosé guy, Joique.
Big rosé?
Rosé! Man.
What's one of your favorite? All right, your favorite?
Money in the Grave. I've been on a big Money in the Grave kick lately.
Okay.
But Maybach music.
Maybach music.
You know that. Okay. Those are timeless, bro.
One of my favorite songs he made was it's more of a chill. Now he has a lot of great ones.
He does.
But the vibe one that I really like is Aston Martin.
That's a good one too. Speeding. Oh man.
No, yeah, but that's the extended version. The extended version, the whole vibe.
The piano and everything that's in there, man.
I can honestly say I don't listen to Rick Ross. NFL, right, Trick?
No, but we are live on location here at Detroit Manufacturing Systems, and it's good to be out here. They got over 1,100 employees that work here. And D-Mac, you and I were talking before we went live here. I get this feeling, and it reminds me of back in the day because my parents both worked in places exactly like this. I mean, there are hundreds of Detroit Manufacturing Systems all over the city of Detroit. These are Red Wings fans. These are my parents. These are the people that put the work in, man, that provide for their family and make a living.
You know what's really cool for me? This is the grind line. This is the epitome of what the grind line, Joey Coach, Chris Draper, Kirk Maltby, and myself, these are the people. As we watch them coming in and stuff like that, and driving down the back streets, and like you said, you sometimes forget, but these places are all around with these people, and these are the salt of Detroit, and these are the people that we're talking about. It's great to be able to run into them, but it's got to bring back memories for you. Probably visiting your dad at work and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Go up there at lunchtime, see pops and all that stuff, man. It is great. But Joique, this is it, man. This is Detroit.
This is Detroit. I don't have those type of stories. My dad was a pastor, so I was in church every day.
Yeah, but it's the same sort of mentality, right,
Right.
Joique? Because you're exactly like me, and you play with everything, you give it out there, but you think of being blessed to do that and represent these guys that are on the line or doing whatever they're doing.
Now, I would say this. I would say coming here and talking to a few of the people, and Detroit is a blue-collar city, and so when I played, I was a blue-collar player. I had to work for everything, just like Detroit has to work for everything. And so to come here and kind of get that, it's like a breath of fresh air. I'm at home.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah. They got Cornhole right here. I got called out on Cornhole by Artemis Smith. He called us out. And so after this, I got to kick his butt in Cornhole.
Absolutely.
What he doesn't realize, and a lot of people don't realize, is that we have these in the locker room. And we play this all day, every day.
Room?
Have this in the locker room. Man. We play this all day. We play ping pong.
How many bags parks are there in the mean streets of Holly?
No,
there's like all over.
Well, we all know.
Streets of Kalkaska, I was born and raised on Cornhole.
Arturo is a product of Flint. Like we've established that he's Flint Town's own Arturo.
You're going to get me shot.
That's the idea, maybe. Don't kill him.
Down
just
the gauntlet.
hurt him a little bit.
Arturo is here. Fish is on location as well. Happy to have all of you guys with us.
Sleeping with the fishes.
In the Flint River.
No, you're really going to be sleeping with fish on this couch at this moment.
Listen, I like Fish. He's a good person.
Yeah,
I don't know if I like him enough to sleep with him, but, stranger things. 20
hey, different strokes for different folks. Anyway, back to the show.
Yeah, back to the show. But, yeah, that'll be going down afterwards. Joique said the gauntlet was laid down. So we'll keep you updated maybe on some social media with what's going on
put some
there.
Money on it.
Yeah. Put some jack on that breakfast.
Now you have money.
Here's the thing.
Now he has money.
Listen, here's the thing. This is what, right? I'm not even. I have, as Joique always says, I got business to tend to after the show. But you got the most underrated athlete here that's gonna whip your butt and everything. Don't put it by my man here. So Joique, he may have. Let's just say not his best game, but it doesn't matter because his partner's going to pick him up. Okay, who's your partner?
Joey's going to be my partner.
No, are you playing?
I'll step in for D-Mac. I got you.
You're in good hands.
They don't know.
You're good. They don't know.
They don't know.
Just like Rick Ross.
I know. I would not.
Joey?
Yeah, I got Joey, and he can play the Rick Ross correctional officer and join you.
When I'm doing corn toss, don't let that craft beer in my hand fool you.
Okay.
All right, I've been knowing.
He has that in his hand for balance.
Okay. I put in work.
Everything else.
I put in work.
Beer.
Don't get that twisted.
I love your hair. Love your hair.
Thank you.
Look at that.
Yeah,
Not you are.
Absolutely. But hey, we're happy to be down here right now. Again, Detroit Manufacturing Systems. They're rolling out a company-wide rebrand. 1,100 employees. They got a company picnic going on. It's a vibe down here. There's no question
a whole vibe. They got the big
about
tent.
that. Yeah.
You know how expensive this tent is right here. I almost had to rent a tent like this for an event I was putting on in my hometown. This one little tent right here, that might cost about $15,000 to buy it. Cost me $6,000 to rent.
Yeah, I mean it is. It's crazy. I talked to a dude that's in that line of work, man. It is. It's crazy how much that, what all goes into that, man. It is. It's unbelievable. Chad, but not that Chad on the YouTube stream says this is the best sports show in Detroit. Chad, I agree, but not that Chad. I agree. But it is. We're happy to have you with you. If
I think the other Chad will agree with that as well.
Yeah. If you haven't downloaded the Woodward Sports app, make sure you do so on the iTunes App Store. Make sure you go in the Google Play Store as well. Download that app, get it rocking, get it rolling, and you have it with you in your pocket wherever you go. But guys, certainly the big story of the night last night, the Tigers lose to the LA Angels last night by the score of 3-1. Miguel Cabrera, Miggy Watch. We need like a news sounder or something like that. Miggy Watch continues. He hit one to the track in the bottom of the ninth. Everyone got excited. I thought it was out when I saw it hit, and it turned out to be the ultimate tease.
It made the noise off the bat, and, it's one of those that if the wind was blowing out, it might have got there. But, I was mentioning, obviously, afternoon game today, or as Maz likes to say, the businessman's special luncheon. But there's rain coming in. I asked you this question. Imagine this. Miggy goes out, hits it early, and it's in a rain delay, and then he doesn't have to do it again, but at least maybe you sort of saw it at home, and then if the game got canceled and they had to go on the road, I don't know. But do you think it's pressure? Because I don't think it's pressure. I just think that he didn't really get a lot to look at or pitch to, and then the job that Shohei Ohtani did last night, he's unicorn in person,
which we're going to get into.
Wow.
I mean, this dude, and we got a good taste of it yesterday with what Shohei Ohtani brings to the plate. But this is something Joique's talked about it, Darren, you've talked about it, I've talked about it. Where, look, we're in an instant gratification society, right? We want everything to happen now. It's a big event. We're there. We want a payoff. We want Miggy to get that home run when we're there. But the math, Joique, I mean, guys that hit 50 home runs in a season, that's one every 3 games. I mean, this doesn't happen every day. People need to, take it down a notch.
Relax, But that's the game, though. The math's not mathing right now, right? He has, how many home games have they had so far? He has 4 home runs here. Give him some time. It's gonna take some time. Patience is a virtue. And I never understood that until I got in the business. And because we're so used, like in the football realm or in the professional realm, even the hockey, D-Mac might be able to agree with this or relate to this, is that as athletes, when we want something done, we get it done like now. It has to be done now. When you get in the business realm, it's not like that. So I had to learn patience once I finished. I had to learn it. Like, okay, so, all right, I understand. You guys don't move the way I'm. Okay.
Telling Neal this, Joique, that I had to realize that when I push the hardest, that's why athletes, we have a bunch of different things to do, because when we're the ones pushing the hardest, because of our mentality of go, 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 we got to move on to the next thing, let everybody catch up. It's not that way.
It's not that way. And Michael Jordan said it best, that an athlete's downtime is his hardest time. All right, this is the hardest time because we're so used to, what did Dennis Rodman say? The ball hit here, I'm there. The ball hit, I'm there. Boom.
Yeah, but we saw, again, I know we all want it right now, but it's one of those things, and like Joique said, he's hit 4 home runs at Comerica Park. I mean, this isn't an every single day occurrence. It's hard to hit a home run, and what we saw yesterday, it's really hard to hit a home run to get any kind of hit against Shohei Ohtani. I mean, this guy, Joique, this guy's different, bro. He's built different.
He's a different breed.
I mean, we've never seen this before, where a guy rolls out, he's untouchable as a pitcher. He mashes as a hitter. He's got 40 home runs. He leads the majors in home runs. And, oh, by the way, he's a great pitcher with one of the best split-finger pitches in the game. I think we know, but we don't know.
There's only one kryptonite for him. If I sign a contract with the Tigers, that'd be the only kryptonite for that time.
Well, even that, though, and this was something I did want to bring up about Shohei Ohtani. He's the best value, and he's making $3 million this year. He's going to make $4.5 million next year.
That's just crazy. That's the craziest thing when we're talking about all these contracts.
We talk about. I'm thinking down the road because I've learned patience, right?
Right.
He continues this, and say he just comes out next year and he's somewhere at the same level he was at this year, and then he does that again the following year. What's crazy is going to be the contract he signs after that. That's going to be the crazy part.
Right.
His contract. That's going to be. How do you pay this guy?
Right. Exactly. Ownership.
Ownership. But think about it this way, right?
Yeah.
If you're one of the great hitters in the game, say you're Mike Trout. Mike Trout's making $37 million a year. If you're one of the great pitchers in the game, like a Max Scherzer, you're making $30 to $35 million a year. That's actually a great question, Joy. How do you pay this guy if you're the Angels?
You got to double it up.
You know what the
double it up.
You know what the funniest thing though on this is the fact that he walks. It's 2-1. Goes into the dugout and they're going, okay. He says, the pitcher, guys, give me another run, or something like this. He just tells himself, hey, I need another run, and he hit it. And everybody knows in Comerica Park where he hit that. It was just off the bat. What a swing.
You don't see baseballs go there at Comerica Park, man. That was back when the home run derby was there. I mean, it was incredible. Yeah, I guess he's the ultimate self-reliant guy, right, D-Mac, in that, hey, I need another run.
Well,
I'm going to go hit one into the stratosphere.
Well, that is. And if you think and you want to put a couple dollars on if Miggy goes yard today in the afternoon game, well, I have it for you. Our studio sponsor, yes, MyBookie. The winning season returns at mybookie.ag, and it's time to get in on the action. First-time players can get started by doubling your first deposit, giving you the firepower to add excitement to the games you have. College football odds boost, NFL lock on the season, and over 500,000 in contest prizes live on site to make the winning season your best ever with mybookie.ag. Historic 18-week schedule of NFL betting offering more action than ever before. You need a sportsbook casino that's reliable, and you won't find a better place. So go to mybookie.ag. I know you're going to bet this season, so do the smart thing. Sign up with mybookie.ag and use our promo code Woodward to get your first ever deposit matched dollar for dollar up to $1,000. That's extra money credited to your account instantly just for using promo code Woodward and making your first deposit. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. He's Joique Bell. He's Neal Ruhl. I'm Darren McCarty. We are Big D Energy. We'll be right back.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Welcome back. We're down live here, Woodward Sports Network, Detroit Manufacturing Systems. Neal Ruhl, Joique Bell, Darren McCarty, back with you. Happy to have you along for the ride. The lunch hour has started. It's a huge barbecue out here, and this is going to be a problem, Joique, for me going forward. I think for you guys as well. When that grill's going, man, it's got that cookout feel to it right now.
I keep looking back, like, can they bring me something over here?
Bring Joique a plate?
I'm sure somebody will bring us something.
Yeah, but
maybe water or something.
Some popcorn, some water. Hey, Fish, can we some popcorn and water over here?
Bring Joique a plate, man. Dude wants a plate. We're wrapping up the Tigers discussion yesterday as they fall to the Angels. They do have that 1 o'clock game today, so if you're sneaking out, very nice day as it stands right now. So, if you want to slide down there, go ahead. Miguel Cabrera will have one more crack at getting home run number 500. They go on the road. They'll be at Toronto this weekend. So, it's not out of the question if you wanted to go follow. If he doesn't go get it done, certainly it's not out of the question. We're following along with your comments on the YouTube thread as well. But, just to wrap up that discussion, though, man, Joique, put this in a frame of reference, what Shohei Ohtani is in football. Would this be like a quarterback that gets 20 sacks, too? This is unheard of.
I don't know. I don't know. Who can we compare him to?
I mean,
no, to be that dominant at both. Because you have players who play Deion Sanders.
Yeah, I mean, would this be like being Joe Montana and Deion Sanders?
Or Herschel Walker,
but
playing two different sports. That's what I compare it to.
To me, it'd be like a guy who gets you 10 touchdowns and 8 interceptions or 5 interceptions.
Yeah, like it's crazy.
Like he plays wide receiver in DB or something where they're in the same sport, because you do not see that. We've seen guys obviously play baseball, play football, stuff like that.
I have a question for you too.
Yeah, a unicorn, man. That's why we've never seen
unicorn. He is a unicorn. Do you think his performance is more impressive than, and it might be far-fetched, than say a Herschel Walker?
I do. I mean, what I saw yesterday was one of the great individual performances in professional sport. What we saw yesterday, just how dominant he was pitching, and then he hits a home run to the moon. We haven't seen this, and that's why we kind of stumbled on this discussion a little bit. We haven't seen this before. I mean, just the combination of, I would say maybe in hockey, like Sergei Fedorov possibly comes to mind. I mean, a dude that could score 5 goals and then go check Forsberg, the other team's best offensive player. But it wasn't like this.
No, that's still both parts of the game. You got to play that. You play offense and defense at the same time. It's like basketball. You can't. It's when you like. Football would be the comparison because you have offense and defense. Like the pitcher. This is the fact that, and he plays right field. The fact that he's an everyday player, and to hear the story, you have to look into it, is that since he's been a kid, 18 years old, he's wanted to play Major League Baseball. And the fact that he stayed in Japan to the team, Nippon or whatever, that said, we will allow you to play both sides. So it was nurtured. So he didn't get lost in the system. As a young kid that maybe was a pitcher, and then they convert him like they usually do over here. So the fact that he played over there and was to be able to be that dominant and to carry it over to the best league in the world, it's amazing. And I don't think you can compare it to anybody else.
And that brings up an interesting question too, D-Mac. And Joique, I'm curious to get your thoughts on this, because if you look at it, American youth sports have become so specialized, right? In that you can be a great athlete, and you're great at basketball, and you're great at baseball, and you're great at football. But here in America, you're pushed that one way to say, which one are you going to do? Which one are you going to focus on? Which one are you going to be excellent? Which is funny to me, because all the great athletes that are great in their sport, they all say you're better off playing multiple sports. But we're so specialized now, we can't replicate this, could we?
Yeah, we can talk about this as well. So we talked about Herschel Walker. Now, I was more so thinking of Bo Jackson. Is it more impressive than Bo Jackson playing both sports and then dominating both sports? But I remember growing up, they would tell me, well, you can be good at multiple sports, but you can only be great at one. Right? And so, the saying, a jack of all trade is a master of none.
Yeah.
But the full saying of that is a jack of all trade is a master of none, but still better than a master of one. And so for me, growing up, I love playing multiple sports. I mean, from football to track to baseball to basketball, and I enjoyed them all. I was good at them all, but the sport that I gravitated to the most was football. And I think it's important for kids to play multiple sports at a younger age and see what they gravitate towards as they grow. And for me, I was able to make that decision at an early age. You know what? I love baseball. When I first played, it was my first love, and then the same year I stepped on the football field, I was 8, and I said, you know what? I love baseball, but I think this is it.
That's a great point, because anybody who knows me, baseball is my first love. And the 2 goals was either to be the catcher of the Detroit Tigers, Lance Parrish was my guy, or be Robin the Proby's Batman. Right? When I was 14, when I was 12, I could hit on a mile-an-hour fastball, but I couldn't hit the off-speed, so I realized I was better at punching people in the face than I was at hitting the ball.
Self-aware.
So, and that's for me, Joique, for me, when all I needed was somebody to tell me what I needed to do to make it to the next level. And they could have said, you have to knock down this building behind us. I'd be like, all right, it'll take me a while, but I'm going to do it. So that's the self-awareness at a younger. For me, it was a little older, but that's I get it. I love playing all different sports, and we play. I never played football and stuff, but we played rugby in Canada and stuff. So I believe it's important, especially for younger kids.
Chad, but not that Chad, on the YouTube thread says Ohtani is the modern-day Babe Ruth. And, I mean, being honest, I mean,
we'll have to ask Maz because he was the only one alive.
Yeah, he covered the games.
But
if
you think about it, if you ask Maz is going to tell you the best player that ever played the game. In this opinion, he's going to say Hank Aaron. That's who he's going to say.
Yeah, but he only played one side of the ball. It's about it. I think it's more of Babe Ruth pitched, Babe Ruth hit, stuff like that. Yeah. Two-way guy. So
he might say the best hitter of all time.
Right. Which I'm a Barry Bonds guy, but to each its own.
I like Barry. Yeah, I like Barry too.
Where's the asterisk? I need because it gets me wondering why isn't there asterisks? Put it in with asterisks because is there other things in history that we don't know about that just like this that they just didn't record, and not just in sports.
Of course,
and life.
There is. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is because it doesn't tell the whole story.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, it always goes back with Barry Bonds. They intentionally walked him with the bases loaded before. They should have stopped the game and said, "All right, you're the greatest of all time." Maybe the Diamondbacks were beating them like 9-7 or something like that. The bases were loaded. It was the ninth inning. There was 2 outs. They walked Barry Bonds, made it 9-8, and then got Jeff Kent out and won the game. So I mean that right there. If you got that kind of juice, Joique,
they made a business decision. They made a business decision.
That's the juice right there.
Because the thing is, that was a business decision that they believe more in their pitcher than the next batter. So we'll give up a run to make it 9-8, and we're going to trust you to get this next guy out.
Right.
And so, you got to think a base hit brings in 2 runs.
Right.
Game over. And so that's a lot of faith you have to have in here. That's a lot of pressure on that pitcher at that point.
Or a lot of respect for Barry Bonds.
It's a little bit of both. Both can be true.
Both things can be true. You guys. I'm glad. We got to get shirts made.
We do.
Both things can be true. No, but taking a look at everybody, what they're talking about here on YouTube. They love the music, by the way, the old school music. And Arturo from Flint Town Zone is feeling it as well.
Let me tell you, the people of Flint, myself included, we know how to groove. Okay,
there's no question.
It's a different groove than Detroit.
Hey,
our conies are better and our dance moves are better.
Did Joique thank you
our
for
conies
turning on the AC today?
Oh yeah, and Joique, you're welcome. By the way, I moved the sun
the
just for you. So then that way you could be comfortable. So no complaining and crying about the AC here.
Our Art was out there getting it done. David Schultz on YouTube says Ohtani's great.
Between being good and being great.
And I'm being great today.
You're choosing to be great. Ohtani's great and excels in multiple positions. How many kids can do that in high school and college instead of getting slotted into one position when they get to the pros? And yeah, I mean that's something where that's why you might not see that in American sports because of the way. We've become such a specialized sports society here. It is. It's an incredible discussion, and I'm really happy because look, I watch a lot of sports. DMAC and I have talked about that. Where if it's 11 o'clock at night and the kids are in bed and everything like that, I'll watch the baseball game. But I never sat down and watched Ohtani the way that I watched him last night, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did because just damn, dude. And the Angels, man. It's funny. It's too bad. It's too bad that he is on the Angels because I wonder what they're going to do with him because they have Trout on the books for $37 million. Anthony Rendon, they're going to be paying $30 million a year till he's like 34. Justin Upton's making $25 million. I mean, they made some bad business decisions. They certainly have. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, bad business decisions. When we come back, some news, obviously, yesterday, if you watched the game on Bally, you noticed there was no Jack Morris. We'll touch on that when we come back. Amani Bates taking a visit at Memphis with Penny Hardaway.
Hey.
You know how that's going to shake out, right?
Hey, that's a nice recruitment visit. Somebody he can go down there, somebody he can relate to, somebody that kind of knows his background. Hey, it's going to be hard to say no.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be hard to say no. But you talked about the air conditioning. We're in nature's air conditioning.
We're in nature. We have great shade. And so today we actually don't need Northwestern Tech today, but we're definitely going to need them tomorrow when we go back into the studio. But I told you about Northwestern Tech. Start a new career in the industry that is always essential, the cooling and heating industry. To learn more today, go to northwesterntech.edu. Joique Bell, Neal Ruhl, and my main man, Darren McCarty. Stay tuned, Woodward Sports.
You know why realtors love using Hall Financial as a lender? Because of our commitment to speed and service. We have nearly 4,000 five-star reviews already. Call today, 248-308-5000, or go to callhallfirst.com.
Welcome back here, Woodward Sports Network. It is Big D Energy. Neal Ruhl, Joique Bell, D-Mac, Darren McCarty. We're broadcasting live from Detroit Manufacturing Systems. We are in Detroit, 1,100 employees. They got a company picnic going on. They did a company rebrand, and they're celebrating with all their employees right now. Great vibe out here. They got the DJ going. They were playing the Rick Ross earlier. Arturo, Flint's own, one of the producers here today, he was vibing out. They did a little more of that late 70s feel. He was feeling that funk.
Just no Ricky Rose for me.
I need some Ross, though.
No. We don't, listen, on this show, it should be a rule. D-Mac, can we make it a rule? We don't support corrections officers. I mean, if the men are out there, that's great, and they're doing their work. But if you're a rapper claiming to be a drug dealer, you can't be a corrections officer.
Why can't you be both? Both can be true.
Both can be true.
Come on.
Both can be true.
No, both cannot be true.
Why not?
That's not why I had issue. But
well, and also locking the gates.
I haven't got word officially yet, so I'm gonna allow shenanigans to go.
On the YouTube chat thread, Colton Ryder Holland says D-Mac had no problems whooping up on people, but couldn't hit a changeup and laughed.
I could hit the changeup. I couldn't hit the curveball and slider if you get any of the dopey stuff.
Yeah, so people calling you out on that.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you watched the Tigers and the Angels game yesterday on Bally Sports, you noticed that Craig Monroe was in the booth, and the news came down right around 3 o'clock yesterday after we got off the air. Jack Morris was suspended. The term was indefinitely by Bally Sports Detroit. They released a statement. The Tigers released a statement saying that they supported Bally Sports' decision. So, we talked about it yesterday on the show. There's the answer, Joique. I mean, Jack Morris suspended indefinitely.
That's what we said.
That tells me it's going to be for a while, though, and he has to undergo training as well.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I said yesterday. It's funny because my godmother texted me last night and said, you know what, me and my husband, we're with Jack Morris right now. What was that restaurant you took us to in Detroit? We're about to go out to eat. I said, how's he doing? And she kind of said that he was remorseful, that he didn't know he offended anyone. He apologized for it, and that, he didn't mean any ill will towards it. But kind of what we talked about yesterday. I said he needs to be suspended. Then he needs to go through some courses on on social issues.
Right.
Social sensitivity issues, and kind of just be educated, and then just go from there. I mean, everybody make mistakes. I don't think it was in his heart to be. I don't think he was being malicious when he said it. But at the end of the day, if somebody's offended by it, then you have to adhere to these people's feelings. You have to show some type of empathy, and then also take the time out to show people you care by going and doing these courses. And then come back and
hopefully it's like a detention. And you know what? Like, as far as that, the thing is, I hope to see him back, because I, like Joique, didn't think his intent was malicious, but obviously there's some sensitivity, and we're in 2021 that needs to be addressed. And if he does that, hopefully he gets another shot back. So, it's like going to detention.
Right, and it was something where, you figured that this was going to be the route that happened. And where I was surprised is the commentary on the social. And look, you want to see the worst of society go through with the exception of our YouTube, Big D Energy YouTube chat thread, where, there's nothing but high quality. There is. I mean, there's good banter. There's understanding folks. I mean, this one hits different than most. But if you want to see the dreg of society, go on a Facebook chat thread or something like that. And people, I mean, I can understand what the issue was. I think everybody can understand what the problem was and what the issue was. But the way, Darren, that D-Mac, the problem that I had were the people that were just trying to normalize it. Like, hey, I'm not offended, so you shouldn't be offended either. And that's the problem. That's the problem that I have with it.
Yeah, I think and I wanted to ask you guys all together. What should have the punishment been? Are you guys okay with the punishment?
I told you what the punishment should have been yesterday.
Right. No, you said training, and I understand.
No, that's not what I said.
Okay, that's not what you said.
I say he needs to be suspended. Don't give half the try. I say he needs to be suspended.
And training.
And training.
Okay.
Not just training.
That was half right.
No.
But if Ohtani isn't offended, as a culture, though, the people are offended. So what?
But it's not just an Ohtani thing,
Right,
though.
exactly.
It is. It's not just an Ohtani thing. And Joique, like you said it. You said people are soft, and I saw a lot of people say that as well. But you know what, Joique? Like, okay, you do a video doing that and put it on your social media for your employer to see. Right. You know, I'm all these people that are commenting on that saying, we become such a soft society. Where's your videos on social media? You doing it then?
You know what, though? What happened if somebody, if somebody walks up to me that's what up, homie? Like, am I supposed to get offended or why I say, what's up, homie, or what's up, bro? Like, am I supposed to be?
I said it, you would be offended.
You said it before, I wasn't offended.
But Art's Flint Town's own, though.
Yeah.
So that hits different.
So it's different, when we're out in the club and somebody is rapping a song and they have some lyrics in there. I'm like, oh, you can't say that. Do I get mad because they say that? I mean, it's a couple words like you just can't say. Like,
sure.
But do you think it's based on? To me, I think it's. Based
it was not
on
malicious though. You can tell
it
wasn't malicious when he said it. You can, and for people who's listening to it, you can tell a person's tone, but if they're trying to be malicious.
Well, and he's an older guy.
He's an older guy
in a different time when that stuff was different.
Right, but at the same time, like, I'm not taking anything away from the people that are offended, but just as a society right now, with the temperatures being high, like, people are looking for things to be. They're looking to be offended.
But to be honest, there's been a lot of in the news and in the world, not in our city, but elsewhere, some
that's bigger than this,
right? But it all goes in, and at the end of the day, people can feel the way that they want to feel. I just hope that gets away, gets to training when we see him come back, because where is the lesson? Where's the lesson to be learned? What is the right? So maybe Jack can, like we said, that demographic was brought up, that the way it was talked in 80s sitcoms and stuff where he grew up. So let's explore this so that it doesn't happen, and maybe he can lead us through what he was thinking in his experience so that we can move on instead of just it's almost like burning them at the stake.
Right.
Burn them at the stake.
Blood. Canuck Duke says it was a poorly timed attempt at dated humor. Hopefully Jack learns from his bias training and can salvage whatever's left of his broadcasting career. And Joique, I think this is, we laugh about this, but I do think this is a classic example of both things can be true. I think you're right, and I think I'm right. Mm-hmm. They're both. I mean, you're a reasonable man. We sit here and talk through these kinds of things. Art, I mean, Joique's reasonable. Give him that. I mean, he'll listen to you talk. He'll laugh at you when you do.
But, I mean, he doesn't.
But that's just you.
He doesn't go out in the general public and make everybody else raise their hand. So.
No, that's just you.
That's only on the show. That's on the show.
Me and you have had conversations. You're like, why are you talking to me?
Fish raises his hand. Fish raises his hand.
And he shouldn't have to. He's
on
Fish.
On the show.
No, you have told me in the hallway, Art, raise your hand before you even look at me. I'm like, geez, okay, Joique.
And that's the truth.
Yeah.
You're gonna look in the camera and say
what
that's
do you
the
think
truth.
you got hit from behind that one day because you didn't raise your hand when Joique was walking by?
Art is everything that's wrong with media. So Art is everything that is wrong with media.
Man, Art, this has been a tough 33-plus minutes for Arturo.
Listen, when you're from Flint Town, the Flint and Detroit thing, I thought it was done, but I guess it's not.
People are talking about it on the YouTube thread.
Flushing. No one's smartest from Flushing.
Are you from Flushing?
Look at him just sitting right there. You just dogged out,
You look like you're from Flushing.
No, not from Flushing. Never, ever.
Yeah, but Art's wearing that right now. There's a lot of talk in the street.
How long do you think it takes before have Bally or Detroit or the Tigers announced how long he is going to be out?
No, it was indefinite. Last I heard.
Listen. I tell you, they have to. Come on, they're not. It's not going to be that. It's going to be some time, but it's not going to be that long. It's either going to be he's fired eventually, or they're going to bring him back after he goes through these courses. Who knows how long these courses are going to be? But how indefinitely just sounds. It sounds very. Very stern.
But I feel
like we put our foot down indefinitely.
Right.
And so the wordplay for instance, if I come to you and say I have some constructive criticism to give you, you automatically go into defense mode. But when I say I have some positive feedback, you have a different reaction to that. And so instead of saying, we're going to suspend him, they say, he's suspended indefinitely to let people know, like, okay, we're going to take this serious. We're taking this serious.
I'm with you, though, Joique. I think, when you look back, the last incident was in the 80s. I mean, it's been so long. If the guy had a history, if he was a history offender or repeater, then yeah. But I think the Tigers and both Valley Sports did the right thing by getting him into some training instead of just, either putting it under their table or just getting rid of him and firing him forever.
Yeah, and Detroit Batter 313 says, nobody's trying to hurt Jack Morris. In my opinion, he's on Bally Sports. Bally has rules. Same with how people cry about the First Amendment on social media. The platform has its own rules. And again, you're correct. That assessment is 100% correct. And Bally thought that this was the appropriate track of action. And, as such, that's what they did. So we'll see, it's how far that runs, how that plays out, and all of that as well. We'll take a break. When we come back, Amani Bates on a visit down to Memphis. Penny Hardaway's got Larry Brown on the staff. Announced Rasheed Wallace on the staff. Yesterday when Amani Bates was coming to town, he put that little welcome basket he got on his Instagram. There was a king-size Kit Kat in there, Joique, and 2 Gatorades.
They would have lost me with the Kit Kat. I don't like Kit Kat.
We'll discuss when we come back. Hey, look, is Michigan State out of the running? Is it over? We'll discuss when we come back. It's Big D Energy, Neal Ruhl, Joique Bell, Darren McCarty, right here, Woodward Sports Network. Welcome back, Detroit Manufacturing Systems. We are live, Woodward Sports Network, Big D Energy, Neal Ruhl, Joique Bell, Darren McCarty. Happy to have you with us. Big D Energy. We got to get that voice, that deep voice in there. Big D Energy. But we are happy to have you along. Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app if you haven't as of yet. Go in the App Store. Go in the Google Play Store. Download that to your phone. Push the button. You are ready to rock. Amani Bates in the news yesterday, who originally had committed to Michigan State. Spartan fans, Darren, were having a parade. They were planning the route. The national championship was on its way to East Lansing, but then not so fast. Amani Bates, stepped back, has assessed some things, and now has opened his recruitment back up. He took a visit to Memphis yesterday, where one Penny Hardaway is the head coach. Has Larry Brown on his staff. You know Larry Brown won a championship during his time with the Detroit Pistons. And yesterday they announced that Rasheed Wallace is a new assistant on that staff, who was a high school head coach in North Carolina, was an assistant for the Pistons for a while as well. This wasn't just like out of thin air. This dude has spent some time coaching. But, D-Mac, you look at that. You and I were talking about it. I still am of the opinion that Amani Bates will go pro, whether that's the G League or whatever, whichever way he wants to go. And I base that just on the fact that, and I know you can get name, image, and likeness money. I understand that. But I think what we saw with the whole Cade Cunningham and Jalen Green phenomenon, you know what I think it did teach us, other than the line of, and look, we're reading the Jalen Green jokes. We're going to get to them. Don't worry. I'm still keeping them rolling. That's going to be our thing. But I think what we saw, Jalen Green benefited from playing in the G League. The game doesn't lie.
Well, he benefited definitely with his game, but one of the things I was talking to you about, these kids being young, playing professional sports, is you forget you have money now, and I guess your freedoms and to be your parameters are not limited, which means you got to learn how to be a pro. The one thing that interests me here is because if he needs and he wants to button up self-awareness, and it's not the skills and development so much, but off the court, then Penny Hardaway, Sheed, and Larry Brown, who can direct not only your name, image, likeness, but also what you need to get to that next level, because we can all agree he's got some uber talent. So I think that the decision is more than money, but yeah, he will benefit no matter where he goes. But that, to me, that's interesting, because it's a one and done anyways, right? So where is he going to be one and done? And if there's something there about development off the court, like what could Rasheed Wallace and Larry Brown offer him, and Penny Hardaway to the player? That's what makes it so interesting, as opposed to just saying, well, he's going G League because of what happened to Jalen Green. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
So if we talk about development players, I think that Tom Izzo, he has a track record of developing players. So I think if he wants to be developed, he goes to MSU. I think if he wants to go somewhere where he can be one and done and kind of put up some big numbers to get to become a lottery pick, I think he goes to Memphis. I think he can have success in both. But obviously, I would say MSU has more of a historically and more prestige program than Memphis, considering Tom Izzo and what he's done there. So it's going to be up to him. I mean, does he want to be a hero in his home state, or does he want to go somewhere for a year and put up numbers and then leave from there, but have no roots there? What do you want to do? I mean, it's up to, for me, playing here in Detroit, college ball here in Detroit, I'm happy I went to college. I'm glad football players have to go to college because it gives you an opportunity to go there, and it teaches you life skills, how to network, how to meet people. And then, some of your lifelong friends are going to be guys that you went to school with. A lot of my business partners now are guys that I went to school with. And so I think that's one of the biggest things that I took away from college. Anything is networking and being part of an institution or of an establishment, not establishment, but of a program that are going to have guys going on to the next level of life or the next phase of life that you can call on for certain things. I have teammates that are engineers. I have teammates that are in real estate now. I have guys that are business owners. I have guys that are lawyers, doctors. And these are the guys you meet, and these are the guys that you play with that you're always going to be in contact with once you're done playing. And so that's why I think it's important for guys to take the college route. I mean, they can also take the G League route in school. Go play professionally. But honestly, for me, for school, the biggest thing that it taught me is, networking. That's the biggest thing I got out of school outside of my education is networking.
But these are things he doesn't need. Right?
Yeah,
these are the things he does.
He's the number one pick in the NBA. If he can go to the draft, he's the number one pick tomorrow.
The NIL and the fact that points you brought up about playing college at home and stuff, and Penny Hardaway, the fastest, more connected to the NBA game today than a Tom Izzo, right? It doesn't help. If he was going to stay and develop, if they had a Final Four program in Michigan State, that would be one thing. I think that because of the way that the team has gone, so has his interest. I think at one time he wanted to play for Tom Izzo, but now it's his path. What's his path of maturity and getting there? And with these guys, they're probably still locked into the league real hard. So, there's that development thing in 2021 as far as who are you getting it from, and these guys that are closer to being out of the game and have played and know what they're doing.
When you look at it too, Joique, with Tom Izzo in Michigan State, it's been proven time and time again. I mean, you can be the number 3 overall pick. You can be a first-round draft pick under Tom Izzo. There are Michigan State guys throughout the league, and there are Michigan State guys that have made a lot of money in the NBA.
I'll give you a perfect example. This is what you get when you go to MSU or you go to a college. These are the things you get. Do you remember the Flintstones?
Absolutely.
Do you remember the Flintstones? All right, so on that Flintstones team, they had a guy by the name of, I don't know if you know, Matt Ishbia. Matt Ishbia.
Yeah.
Was a walk-on.
Who's got more money than God now?
Who has more money than every player on that roster who went on to play in the NBA. Combined. And then not only that, but also gave some of his former teammates jobs within his company once they left college.
Right.
And those are the type of guys you meet when you go to school, but you don't meet those, you don't get that experience. Right? And so when I look at comments like who's the youngest? LaMelo Ball. I see comments he makes about, why do I need to go to school? I can learn. School is foolish. You know what? It might be for you, right? You might say that, but you got to understand who your father is and the connections your father already, he has connections.
Right.
He played in the NBA. He can connect you with people. Everybody don't have, everyone doesn't have that. I didn't have that.
I just think because he's the undisputed first overall pick that it doesn't have the same thing. Everything you're talking about is what I would be thinking and where our mentality is coming.
How many people can be number 1 pick? They're going to be one.
No, I understand, and he
is. If the NBA draft was today,
we're talking about the, and I'm saying for most what you're saying, Joique, that is so true for most, but this situation is different.
Like, this is Sidney Crosby of basketball, right?
Or Connor McDavid,
or Connor McDavid.
whatever.
I mean, this cat.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is a mercurial talent. At least that's what we've been. I mean, this guy's been the chosen one since junior high.
You have LeBron and Kevin Durant coming to your games, then you're special.
You hit different.
Yeah, you're special.
No, and that's the thing. And it'll be interesting to see. And look, we know what the fallout will be, right? I mean, because we see this all the time with Michigan State. We've seen this happen to Tom Izzo before, where if Amani Bates does go to Memphis or he goes to the league, if Amani Bates just doesn't go to Michigan State, and we'll just stop it right there, they'll start shoveling the dirt on the Tom Izzo grave again, right? Because that's what Tom Izzo's been bouncing back from for a very long time. You know, it won't be the end of Michigan State basketball if he doesn't go. And I know the Michigan fans are, they're like, as soon as Amani Bates said, I'm going to Michigan State, the Michigan fans jumped in there and said, there's no way he'll never play a second at Michigan State. Like, that was their security blanket. That was their go-to. But with all that being said, even if that is the case, Michigan State will be fine.
Oh, yeah, no, because of what Joique said. That's the two different conversations. Is you look at that program to what and what is United Wholesalers? What is the sticker? What Matt Ishbel owns?
Yeah, United Wholesale Mortgage, UWM. Yeah.
So and if you see on the Red Wing helmets last year, you know what I'm saying. So, but that's what the college will get for most of the kids. The fact that this is different, but State will be okay because. That sort of culture. And that's just something that, Joique brings out is that, hey, remember this, because he still has that. And, in our not so much junior, but it's sort of like because we played so young together, our college years, we have that as far as, like our brethren with the Wings, especially us younger guys.
Yeah.
Now older.
Absolutely. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I did want to change up, got to touch on the Lions as well. They're getting ready Saturday night. They're playing at Pittsburgh. I want to ask Joique, the whole dress rehearsal thing that we've talked about forever. Does that change now? It's at game number 2. I told you I was going to get to one. Nick Rakovich here on the YouTube thread. Jalen Green eats candy corn, so that makes him bad right there. Just absolutely, that makes him bad just based on that. And so we'll talk Lions when we come back. Preseason Motoring On. We're motoring on live at Detroit Manufacturing Systems. It's Big D Energy. But before that, D-Mac's got to let him know, D-Mac.
I'll let him know because it's Thursday. And you know what? We're going to coast into the second hour of this show. Don't you worry about it. With Coast, Portland.com. Yes, you too can go. They didn't let me bring my machete today or my lamps or anything like that, but you can go to CoastPortland.com. Use WSN 20 for 20% off. Also, hashtag HowWeCoast anywhere that you Woodward Sports Network. I will be giving away tomorrow when we are live broadcasting from Levels in Centerline. I will be giving away that $100 gift certificate. So hashtag HowWeCoast. Let me know how you can use those lights, those knives, and whatever you want. You're listening to, or you're watching Big D Energy here, Woodward Sports Network.
Welcome back, Woodward Sports Network. It is Big D Energy. Neal Ruhl, Joique Bell, D-Mac, Darren McCarty, Arturo Flint's own, the producer here today, Fish, out of the bowl, but still with us as well. Everybody's been down here. Certainly the Morning Woodward Show is broadcasting live, so it's been a good time here. They got the barbecue going and everything. The smell's hitting hard right now. Man, it's an issue. It's an issue, Joique. I'm not going to lie to you, man.
Hey, Alex, can you bring me some popcorn, please? Appreciate that, Alex.
Oh, you don't have
Hold on. All right,
Alex.
did you raise your hand?
No, because we're on location.
Did you raise your hand?
You know what? I'll put the camera on me. I'll put the camera on me.
Hey, raise your hand then.
Don't get mad because
before you talk to our supporters.
Award-winning commercial wasn't in there. Get out of here. Get out of here.
No, man, I need you to understand this. I need you to understand. We're the talent.
Oh, don't even start.
You're behind the scenes.
And I run the camera, so I would never do D-Mac.
You know what's funny?
That,
hey, cut his mic off.
Fish,
please.
Choose wisely, Fish. How dare you?
There he goes. Yeah, there he goes.
How dare you?
Stick
Fish.
from the top rope with the elbow. And Arturo is down here at the Dordt Federal Credit Union Center in Flint.
I know some people in Flint. A couple calls.
Deep in
Tesla
the streets.
No tires.
Alex 1.0.
Wrapping up the Michigan State discussion, Chris Canoe says Izzo's been past his prime for a while. Not saying he's not great, but he's on the downward slide of the mountain for sure. And look, people have been saying that, and they have bounced back and they have answered the bell. It will be interesting to see. Amani Bates, I think, really could help with that perception. And we'll see. We'll see if he ends up going to Memphis or what the story is. Saturday coming up, Lions, Steelers, and some news out of the Lions organization. Former Lions wide receiver Leonard Thompson passed away at the age of 69. Certainly that is sad to see. That was when he was at the tail end of his career, that was when I was a very, very young buck. That was when I first started, paying attention and stuff like that. So I do remember seeing him out there on the field, and certainly that is sad to see. The Detroit Lions, as we said, Saturday night at Pittsburgh. And Joique, you brought up a point, I think it was a week or so, maybe 2 weeks or so, we were doing a show with this revamped preseason and what they do now with just the 3 preseason games moving on to the 17 regular season games. Yeah. Does it change? Because we've been conditioned that 3rd preseason game was the dress rehearsal. Weird. So does that move up now to game 2? How does it work?
It's weird. I'll talk to a few players, and, it's weird. I guess different teams are doing, different methods. I don't know. I guess this is a new norm. They have to figure out how they want to do it, but I've heard some teams say they're not going to start any starters the rest of the preseason. And then I also heard, they're going to play some and, sit out the ones that they know are going to be on the roster. So I don't know what it's going to be. This preseason, you just have to wait and watch and see what these teams are doing until they figure out how they want to go about it. It's kind of what it is. I remember, why would you give it to Fish?
No, you didn't give it to Fish. You gave it to me, you dingus. I'm the one with the popcorn.
Why would you give it to Art?
Because I'm running the show. Do you want the popcorn or not?
Well, Alex doesn't matter. Realize that now Art touched it, so he's going to have to go back and get you a new one.
Yeah, good luck with that alopecia. You got all the alopecia.
Arturo's back now that the microphone is on. But
swimming in that water.
But what about that, though, Joique? I mean, I think we're seeing a move towards this where people are just saying, you know what, our star dudes, we're straight here. We're good.
It's funny because when I went to Buffalo my rookie year, one thing they don't do, they really don't blitz defensive. They don't really blitz in that 4th preseason game. And so when Chan Gailey came in from Georgia Tech, it was his first time doing a preseason. And so when he addressed the team, he said, listen, we're not going to blitz in the 4th quarter. I don't know it. I guess that's how they do it in this league. We're not going to blitz in the 4th quarter. We're going to run this. And that's the 4th preseason game. I don't know how it's going to go because it's new to every coach. And so there's really no true way to go about this preseason. Do what's best for your team. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder about that because I would guess it's a fine line, but maybe it's not. I mean, if you're Aaron Rodgers, the proof is in the pudding. I mean, you talked about how terrified you were of Aaron Rodgers, as I
was never terrified.
I'm giving you a hard time
never
right there,
terrified.
but
never terrified.
But the man did work, though.
He did. I respect him a lot.
Yeah,
he's probably one of the top players I ever respected in this league, as far as playing against an opponent. Another guy was that was probably one of my favorite running backs when I played was Marshawn Lynch. Respecting him, but as far as terrified.
No, but bottom line, though, Joique, do those dudes need – I mean, could they go a whole preseason, not play it down, and then roll out and be cool? Because you guys they practice every day.
Jackson did it. Marshawn Lynch did it. I know, Marshawn actually broke his hand the first preseason game, and he had to sit out 4 weeks, which he wanted to sit out anyway. No veteran really wants to play preseason. And then Marshawn Lynch rolled his ankle. He sat out the rest of the preseason. So it's just, depending on who you are and, some guys don't need it, some guys need it. I think you'll have to know yourself as a player to know if you need it.
And D-Mac, what about that? I mean, for you, it's a little bit different. You guys played more preseason games. I mean, did you need reps? Did you hate that shit? Like what?
Well, here's what it was, right? Is that usually coming out of camp when you're younger and you're trying to make the team. There's 9 preseason games. You're going to play 7 or 8 of them. I mean, because they want to get a look. As you get older, you might play 4 or 5. Depending on if you're healthy, but you'd have more of a shot. What you wanted to do, and this is NHL exhibition too, is you get out there and you want to throw the body around, sort of get the calluses up, maybe get a fight or two preseason. Some young guy's going to challenge you, so you just want to get back on the horse. But yeah, it was sort of. as the years gone on, because we always made the playoffs and always were sort of the mentality was do whatever you needed to prepare yourself for the playoff run. You sort of did that at the beginning of the season where it'd be like you're good or you need another one, or so it was always to play 4 or 5 out of the 9.
Yeah. On the YouTube chat thread, 9 Drinks on Week 2 says, Joique, got a question for you. If Brad Holmes calls you up tonight and says, hey, can you play in the game on Saturday? Could you walk in and play? You look like you're still in good shape. Could you play right now?
Yeah, I could, for sure.
Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Third downs.
That's all you need.
Third downs.
Give me that yard, Joique. Give me that yard.
Yeah, give me third down. You know, it can even be put me in the passing game. So 3rd down, 3rd and 6, put me out there. I'll give you a nice little crossing route, or I'll give you some screens. I'll give you something. I'll do something for you.
What do you think the stat – how many plays, what would the stat line be?
Just know we'll get all our third downs. So it depends on how many third downs we have. But I'll probably give me about 3 or 4 carries a game. I'll get you about 30 yards for 4 to 5 carries. 2 passes, 2 screen passes. Give me about 2 crossing routes. I'll probably end the game about 4 or 5 catches for about 65, 70, end the game with about 100 all-purpose.
About a C-note?
Yeah.
All right.
C-note. That's what I do for you. Preseason, then when the regular season starts, then I'll be a player's coach. I don't have to play it all.
I like it.
There you have it. Also, Mike G wants to know, where do you get Joique and D-Mac's hats? Let them know.
Mine's a Delicious Seeds hat, thanks to the whale. The Delicious Seeds, it's, in the cannabis business, it's all about the genetics. So you can only grow what he does, and these are some of the best in the business.
What you working with, Joique?
I actually found this hat. I was going golfing. I needed a golfing hat, so I ran to Grayson right downtown Detroit. Ran in and grabbed this hat, along with like one other hat and like some clothes. Go check them out, Grayson downtown. Go check them out.
Joique, getting the plug in. They also want to know, D-Mac, you got a shift in you right now?
I was told Coach Blasher I got 1 shift left. I don't like who the guy is that's going to get it, but I got 1 left to give it to somebody.
People don't know, man.
Hey, like between 2010 and 2017, no, but now, gee, I'm I'm doing even more crazier stuff than going out for a shift in hockey. So with my body these days.
I've always said that, though. People don't understand about hockey players. Like, they know, but they don't know. It's 60 seconds.
Yeah.
And that's a longer shift. But it's everything you have in your body.
My optimal is probably 35.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's everything you have.
Different role. Like a guy like Sergey could go minutes because they skate so well that they know when to rest. And then when it's just sort of like a marathon.
So how do they shift? Guys. So, but I've always been interested. So how do you know when to shift?
Okay, so your centerman, right? So your centerman's your key, right? So if it was Drapes is the centerman for the grind line. So all you got to learn who is your centerman. And so the coach, usually Scotty, would tell Barry and say, okay, Stevie's up. So who's Stevie's line? Drapes, you're up. So that means your line. The D, there's 2 defensemen with the pair. That was done at the other end. That was totally Dave Lewis's job. So the 6th defenseman, however you paired them, it was pretty much Nick Lidstrom, when you're not tired, go out there and everybody else fill in. But so, and then there'd be different things like if you were matching lines, right? So then you just watch if we were in the playoffs, and every time Sakic was on the ice, we were on the ice, so you just watch for Sakic. And so everybody knew, so they could call Fedorov's line, but I'd be sitting next to the bench and I go, Sakic's up. And it'd be like grind line. But we would know it would be just more like it's more like your G-bot and stuff like that. You just look.
Oh, G-bot, yeah.
You just want to get back in the game, but it's just sort of like you're listening for your centerman's name, or if it's penalty kill or power play, like who your pairs are.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Will you take me out there to play hockey with you one time?
Absolutely. I'll get you out there on LCA. We'll go to the practice rink. I'll set it up where
we got to do a show. We got to do a show
Before we do it though, because I learned this. I got to get my own custom made skates.
Yeah.
then I have to put them in the oven at 200 degrees for what? No.
Well, see, you used to have to do that. Now what you'll do, Joique, we'll get size for skate.
See, Art doesn't even know.
No, because in Kokaska, you just wore them like a man and you dealt with it.
No, what we used to do growing up is you put them in the oven for like 20 minutes to heat them up, and then you put your foot in them, and then they do it. But nowadays, you go in, put your skate on, they put a machine around it, and it will suction to your foot, or they're all personalized to you. But that's where the start is.
Can we also bring up real quick?
Art's got to be a net.
Also, I've had people
slappers at Art.
I've had people message me over and over again. Darren is still checking me into the boards. It's just due to some circumstances, the time was changed, and now it's set for January, correct, Darren?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good. The way you look at me with that love in your eyes, you can't wait.
Out Clark Park. There it is. The Clark Park that we play the outdoor fish fiasco in January, where I'm going to absolutely run over Art because it's his job, because he can't bet a UFC fighter to save his life.
Oh, yeah. My boss told me that, too.
Yeah, exactly. So, and the fact that we'll get out the outdoor rink, Clark Park downtown, too. But we'll get out to the practice. I'll let the boys know. We'll get you all set up.
Okay.
Absolutely. We got to get Joique the white Nike Sergey skates. We have to.
There we go.
Those were smooth, man.
I don't even know if those are in existence.
Yeah, but the greatest Nike
Joique
commercials of all time.
Oh,
$1,000,000%.
That is so his style.
Yeah, $1,000,000%. He had to deal with Nike.
Pulling out the Nike.
Yeah, why doesn't he just call Nike himself?
Make the call.
Maybe they're on his
Let me
list.
see my contract.
Make the call.
Maybe if he goes on his website and on his gift list that they're on there.
I don't have any. I'm not with Nike anymore.
Oh, dang.
Not with that attitude.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to get into some more NFL discussion. Nebraska, the Cornhuskers, they're in some trouble. It kind of makes me laugh. They're in a lot of trouble, and it's not just with the NCAA. We'll discuss when we come back. Joique Bell, Darren McCarty, Neal Ruhl. This is Big D Energy with the popcorn.
With the fresh popcorn.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Right back at it.
Welcome back, Big D Energy. Neal Ruhl, Joique Bell, Darren McCarty with you. Flintone Arturo, the production circle, as well as his fish out here mixing and scratching. They are on the ones and twos. We're broadcasting live from Detroit Manufacturing Systems. They're doing a company rebrand out here. Got the huge barbecue going on, the lunch. Everybody.
How's the popcorn, Joique?
Yeah, Joique's over here smashing popcorn.
You know what? It's very hard to find good popcorn. Where the butter is perfect. It's not too salty, but it's not bland. Good job, Alex.
Nothing is more distracting than hearing Neal talk and hearing. I don't know how you guys do it.
You can't hear it in the microphone.
I can hear it.
Yeah.
Because I'm listening.
I didn't hear nothing, bro.
Of course you
Right.
didn't. Athletes stick together.
Yeah,
and sound guys stick together, I guess. I don't know.
Yep. It's
Yeah.
Fish and I versus the world.
You said you love handles against the world?
God, stop it. I'm going to start standing up while we do the show.
I don't know. You ever see a guy love handles so bad?
Stop! I'm book 65. Yeah. Shut up.
It's worse, skinny fat. You ever seen a guy who
skinny fat.
Stop it, Neal.
I got a buddy of mine that is the fattest, skinniest dude ever.
It seems like no matter what he do, it just look like, even when his pants are up, it looks like
You know what? Blasphemy. I texted him last night, and I was like, you know what? Something he posted on Instagram really motivated me. My love handles, I need to get rid of them. All I got was seen. That's it. No support from Joique. Just insults.
Yeah, because you know what? You talk a lot. We're about action.
I'll give you some action. Twice. I'm about action. I've got 7 kids. I'm clearly about action.
About that action.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
And he's from Flint, so you know he's about that action.
Yeah, that's
about that action.
He is. No, but
Flint sounds very own.
Flint sounds very own.
Look at what you started.
Ed Klee on the YouTube thread says, I enjoy this show a lot. Very well done, gentlemen. So, hey, Ed, appreciate it, man. Appreciate you watching, interacting. Make sure you download the app if you haven't, the Woodward Sports app. In the App Store on your iPhone, Google Play Store for your Android as well. Hope that you guys can load that up. You'll have it ready to rock whatever you guys got going on. We appreciate you joining us here. Did want to touch on this very quickly. Some news coming out of Nebraska. The NCAA is investigating Nebraska and head coach Scott Frost for improper use of analysis and consultants during practices and games. The school has, quote, significant video footage that shows violations happened in the presence of Frost and other members of the staff. And I can translate that to mean they were practicing when they weren't supposed to be practicing. And Joique, that goes on everywhere in America, doesn't it?
That is everywhere. Like, stop. That's every team. Like, how did they find out? How did they find out?
Somebody rats. Somebody got mad, and somebody who was on the end. It's just like anything else. Did a player go sneak to the compliance and say, "Listen, we're out there about a half an hour past"? Somebody not happy that they didn't get their books paid for.
We're practicing a little bit more. You know what I mean? We're not supposed to be out there. We had a lady who was the compliance for our team, and we tried to stay clear of her because we didn't want to get in trouble by the coach. Obviously, these players aren't afraid of the coach. There's no respect in there. There's no respect. That only gets back. A player goes back and says something.
Well, and you know why that is, Joique? Because he came in there with all this bravado and everything like that, and it ain't working for Nebraska, and it ain't working for Scott Frost, and it hasn't worked in a very long time.
Can I ask you this question? Do you think – because how long has he been there?
3 years now, I think.
So not as long as Harbaugh, but that could – like, we could arguably say that's been just as big of a disaster as what Michigan had.
Right, because he came in, coming from UCF, he was going to save the program,
right?
I mean,
he was the golden child down there, wasn't he?
He was the golden child.
You got to think, when you bring in a coach, you have to hype him up.
He was 13-0, with Central Florida. I mean, they had their own self-claimed national championship as well. So I mean, there was a lot of all that, but I mean, he's come in and he just has not. He's not gotten it done. I believe, what's the record? 12-20. I wanted to look up and make sure I got it right. He's 12-20.
When you win, the discrepancies or whatever in life, are sort of whether turn your head or move away. When you're not winning, and then it exemplifies, and people are looking to cover their own backsides or whatever else. So.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think for Nebraska, and their sellout streak's in danger of ending. And it's not because of COVID. It's not because of any of that. You know what it is? Scott Frost isn't a good coach. That's what it is.
And that's the bottom line.
And Nebraska.
I'm 2-4 today.
Yeah, I'm from 2. That is the bottom line.
How to say his record again?
12-20.
12-20. But what is Harbaugh's record? Like 40-something and what's his record? 40-something and 8
against Ohio State and Michigan State.
No, just overall record.
Against ranked teams.
Overall record.
Against teams that aren't Army. And Western Michigan.
Somebody on the golf course the other day threw the winningest team at me, and I had to remind them they beat the blind.
All right, we have a guest here live. We're at Detroit Manufacturing Systems, as we've been talking about all show long, and we welcome in their COO of Detroit Manufacturing Systems, Ben Meacham, is in the house. And Ben, appreciate your time. Appreciate you having us out. What we don't appreciate, the barbecue that's going on right now, because we're trapped right here.
Yeah, we can fix you up. We'll save you a plate. How about that?
We have some vegan options over there.
Yes, we do.
Tighten me up.
Yeah, we got you. We'll tighten you up.
Ben,
all right.
Ben's got you covered. But Ben, let's talk about Detroit Manufacturing Systems for a few minutes here. I mean, 1,100 employees. Darren McCarty and I were talking about it. I drove in the parking lot. As somebody who was born and raised in this city, this is Detroit. I mean, there's Detroit Manufacturing Systems everywhere, but this, the vibe that you get from all the employees here, this is Detroit, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is we're a diamond in this community. I think we've most of the employees we have come from this area.
Right.
They're fantastic people. If you walk through the plant, the love you feel from our people is amazing. Yeah. And I certainly hope you have an opportunity to do that, to walk through and see what we're doing. There's a lot of companies that can put stuff together, but they don't have our people, right? And they're not in the inner city of Detroit like we are, and on the west side. So we're very proud of what we do and who we are. And what we're striving to be. is even more important.
I think that's important too, that you say that, because as a part of Big D Energy, being part of Woodward Sports Network, that's what's a community, and to see this, to be able, the rebranding, like we're I've been staring at the logo. Yeah. Right? And that's what sort of we're here for, the rebranding of it. Who came up with that logo? Because I think it really, like you said, the diamond in the city, that sort of shines like the Detroit diamond.
Yeah, I think if you look at it, it's representative of Detroit. First of all, it's represent when you look at it, it's representative of speed. It's representative of high tech. I think you can see that in it. Yeah. It's representative of who we are, right? And who came up with it, I think there was a number of options we looked through with Real Integrated the marketing, and that's the one we chose.
I like it.
Yeah.
It almost looks like if we had on Star Trek, if we had an officer from Detroit plant, and he hits his button and then he's beaming me up, Scotty. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
it
with
looks
the
high
technology,
tech.
it looks
So honestly, I can tell from the people in the background, like you talked about it earlier. I want to kind of go back to that.
In on it.
They are getting it.
They are getting it. And so real quick, you talked about how walking through it, you feel the love, you feel the energy in the building. But just like any organization, any team, that energy comes from the top. So I just want to commend you guys on an amazing job you guys are doing here, because they're only going to express the type of treatment that they're getting on the other people. So so that's I got to give you guys props on that.
Well, I don't. Sometimes I try to keep my personal beliefs to myself, but really it comes from on high, right? And I serve a God that loves me.
Amen.
And he's blessed me. So I feel like I have an obligation to give back.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Talking with Ben Meacham here, the COO of Detroit Manufacturing Systems. So, Ben, I mean, what about that? Certainly in this labor market, right? We keep hearing about the labor market and worker shortages and everything like that. These people, those people that are behind you and everything, the 1,100 plus that work here, that's your resource. I mean, you guys make a product, right? Like you guys are active with Fiat and Chrysler and all that. But that's the product. The people are the resource, right?
Oh, yeah. We've, like you said, we're 1,100 strong. We're still growing, still have tremendous amounts of opportunities. And the labor market is a challenge right now with the pandemic going on. Chip shortages, layoffs every now and then because of that. So it is a challenge. It's a challenge throughout the market, but we don't use that as an excuse, right? We figure out how to overcome and walk through it, right? Yeah, that's all you can do. Don't complain about it. Figure it out and do something about it, right? That's what we're about.
Is that what you read yesterday on the show, Art? Is that what you read yesterday on my page?
Yeah. No, but but Ben, we certainly do appreciate your time. We appreciate having us out. And like I said, Ben, when I walked through those doors, man, it was like when I would visit my dad, because my parents both worked in production factories as well. So it brought me back. And I got those same vibes and the people here and everything that you guys are doing. Appreciate you having us out.
Yeah. I appreciate you having me, and I appreciate you guys being here. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And I will make sure we save you a plate.
Don't worry about it. I'm coming right over. I want to see what type of vegan options
I was going to ask. I was going to ask, but he said it himself, so we didn't have to worry about it.
I didn't have to worry about it.
Ben Meacham, the COO of Detroit Manufacturing Systems, kind enough to take a couple of minutes here. And we're out on the scene right now, but Joique.
Yeah, we're also going to be on the scene tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're at Levels Provisioning Grand Opening and Car Giveaway, live broadcast all day, opening event with Woodward Sports, Levels in Centerline, Michigan. Address is 23968 Sherwood Avenue, Centerline, Michigan. It'll be tomorrow, Friday, August 20th. We'll all be on the site to help promote everywhere from the Morning Woodward Show, Big D Energy to the Bottom Line. Free food, tons of giveaways, and your chance to win an extra, you hear me, an extra challenger, because I know you already have one. And if you don't have one, come and get one. Here we go, Woodward Sports, stay tuned.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
Hire a graduate of
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Second hour of the show here on the Woodward Sports Network. It is Big D Energy. Neal Ruhl, Joique Bell, D-Mac, Darren McCarty with you. Art, Flint Town's own, or Arturo as he's known in the streets.
That's right, baby.
That's his name in the streets. Fish is in the house as well. Certainly taking your comments on the YouTube thread. If you're watching on YouTube, we appreciate it. Make sure you download that app as well. In the App Store, in the Google Play Store, whether you're Team Android, Team iPhone, we got you covered on that. Got some comments to get to. The first hour we talked about Ohtani and what he did. Got a comment here from Kyle. Says, I was there last night when Ohtani came to bat. There was an energy. People are starting to understand what they're witnessing historically. Ironically, I missed his home run because I went to get a scorecard to commemorate his pitching performance, but I heard the home run. I'll never forget that sound off his bat. It echoed through the park. And you know, that's something that I heard about Cabrera when he first came to Detroit. The sound tells a story. I would imagine if you're a good linebacker in football, or you know, if you're Ally Afraidy with a slap shot in hockey, the sound tells a story, doesn't it?
The sound. I tell you what does. A big hit coming across that middle.
Yeah, it sounds different.
That home run that Sammy Sosa did when he broke the record with Barry Bonds. That sound tells the story. It does. It's electrifying.
Ohtani's got that sound.
He has that
Think of
same
the golf
sound.
club. The
Yeah,
ball off
absolutely.
the golf club from a pro. If you're standing on the range, and you listen and you hear some different sound, that's usually a really
You know, it's funny
player.
when I golf. When you golf, sometimes when you're standing there, you checking out your balance, you're teeing it up. Sometimes you know it's a good shot before you hit it.
Yeah, your body's all there. Yeah.
You feel like, oh, I know this is going to be a good shot. I know it is in the field. And you know that feeling.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
I know you know that feeling.
I do.
Speaking of the YouTube chat thread, Mike G wants to know, they want Art to DJ MC their daughter's birthday party. Would you travel to Flushing?
Flushing's right down the road for me, so absolutely. I'll even give you an 810 discount. What, D-Mac? I'm the DJ and MC in a kid's birthday party. What do you got bad to say about that? I'm waiting for it. Come on.
No, that's pretty good. I'm proud of you.
Well, thank you.
How much you charge?
I don't have the equipment.
Nothing wrong with that.
How much
You'll
you
have to buy the equipment, but you know.
But Art will go out there and mix and scratch on the ones and twos.
You pay for my gas money, throw me a couple extra bucks, or
Why
give
don't
me
you
some
and
edibles.
Fish start your own?
He's going to be at a
it.
kid's birthday party playing Louis Ray.
Yeah, Louis Ray, Y&J, Cliff Mack, Gunhood Zeke. Yeah, all of them. Josh McKay, we'll throw them all on. I'm 810 certified, people.
I love it. Art is certainly deep in the streets. But we did want to talk about, we touched on the Detroit Lions preseason rolling on. Speaking of preseason, some news from Dallas Cowboys camp. Dak Prescott likely will not play in the preseason. And Joique, just to further the discussion, what we were talking about before, the preseason rules, I think, have shifted fundamentally. And with that 17th regular season game, I think health has been a premium, but health now, adding a game, let everybody know what that is, an extra regular season game.
That's tough.
Everything that goes into it, everything that you put on the line, this is different.
They took a game that didn't count but mattered and put it into the regular season. That's what they did. They took a game out of preseason, put it into regular season. And now we have a 18-week season now. It's going to be a total of 18 weeks. And it's going to be a long season.
We're going to see injuries like we've never seen before, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, and that's how much – I mean, the injury rate is already 100%. Just add on the extra game is just going to heighten those numbers. I mean, I don't think you can heighten those numbers. It's just at the point now, it's not if, it's when you get hurt. Like when.
And certainly with it being a quarterback-driven league, D-Mac, I mean, Dak Prescott, the Cowboys, this is probably the right play for them. I mean, what good comes – you know what he is on the field. What good is going to come from Dak Prescott playing in the preseason?
Especially when he's your $40 million guy coming off of hellacious injury and coming back. And it gets, when you hear all these things coming out of Dallas, so he's not going to play, you don't know. It's the same thing as Joe Burrow.
They're still playing.
Struggling in Cincinnati. No, they're still playing, you say?
No, they should. No,
they shouldn't play him. No, it's a different situation, but it comes – I got to looking at it. My question off this is I'm more comfortable being a Detroit Lion fan with Jared Goff and waiting to find out if all the naysayers are right and that he can't play, or this is a change the scenery that he needed. But I like our situation at quarterback because I don't know if that this injury to Dak Prescott, if he takes another hit or whatever, if there's something there. So, yeah, it's smart on the team's part, but because you got to look at your assets. So he's a great quarterback, but again, that injury, you never know. Yeah, you want guys to come back 100%, but you're never really 100%.
No,
you're not going to play a game 100% in this league. Then you're going to have
even game one, right? Even game one?
No, because you're coming out of preseason.
Right.
Now, Dak could probably come back into the season, and he's probably not going to be 100% because he's probably still recouping from that injury. That's probably why they're not playing him.
Yeah.
Right? But even for him, I think it should be up to him whether he feels he should go out there and get even just one series in a game. It's going to be up to him. Only he knows his body. I know he's working with his trainers. He's working with his athletic trainers and whoever else he's working with. But only he would know if he can go out there and take a snap. Only he would know if he needs to go out there and get some reps. Only he would know that. And it's not too many people who can just not play any games in the preseason and just come out on fire during the regular season.
Right, and you look at the nature of that right ankle injury that he had. I mean, we saw the video. It was horrific. It was horrific.
Yeah, hard to watch.
Yeah,
hard to watch.
And that ankle's been surgically rebuilt. So, I mean, with all that being said, Joique, that gives you a little bit of extra concern, I would think, because he is a guy that is capable of making plays with his feet. I mean, that's an angle that you feel would be compromised. I mean, let's be real about it. Dak Prescott will be out there compromised to some degree.
You think so? Let's see. Because sometimes when you have an injury, sometimes that injury or that leg could be stronger than your other leg. The guy that I was telling you about who had that horrific foot injury, who could have lost his foot, now says that's his strongest foot.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's something that he's going to have to test it.
Everybody's different. I think that in this case, because of the money and because Dak Prescott has played in the league, he knows what he's up against, as opposed to, I'm more concerned, younger guys like a Joe Burrow or whatever, because they're young, that they don't know their body enough yet, and they push, and that's where the younger guy, because he doesn't take as much time, because he thinks he can heal. I had my first sports hernia surgery, I came back the fastest out of anybody. I was the 24th to have it, and I came back in 7 weeks instead of 10. You know, but it still hindered me for another year.
Yeah, I mean, right? No doubt, because it's rebuilt. I mean, yeah, essentially it's rebuilt. A little bit of other quarterback news before we get to the break. Joique, I have to give you props because I think you're going to end up being right, and I was wrong talking about Deshaun Watson. I thought he would roll in, that to some degree this would all go away because he would start to make plays on the field, but then the FBI is getting involved. And when you got cases, the 3 letters you don't want to hear, I would imagine, I can't relate, but I can imagine the 3 letters you don't want to hear are FBI. Deshaun Watson might not play this year, man.
That and IRS.
But I mean, at least with IRS,
maybe not in that order.
Yeah, well, at least with IRS, you still have the power of the pen, right? Like you can write the check, and make it go away. When the FBI gets involved, that pen's no longer of use.
I think you make a point, Neal, is that it brings more to the severity, because all along is usually like we hear something, then we don't, then we hear something again, whatever, like this. Now the fact is it's sort of made it, like, for lack of a better term, real.
Right.
I'm not saying that I know it was real before and the victims and all this stuff, but it's one of those, it takes it more to the legitimacy of, we're going to get an answer, we're going to find out. And to your point, yeah, I don't think he's playing this year.
Yeah, I mean, but
I didn't all along.
I'd say you this right now. Until he's found guilty, it's all allegations. So
which I'm with you.
No, we're right. But the fact that you bring in these 3 letters, FBI, now we're going, okay, we're going to find out an answer sooner than later, I would expect.
Right, and we are, and, a bit of the degree with the FBI is there's believed to be some extortion that's come in, and now this is where it's going to start to get even uglier than it already is.
You bring up a great point, right? Now that the fact that the FBI's in, whether, say, Deshaun Watson is innocent and there is an extortion on this end, or whatever, like the truth will play out to what's going on, it's gotten to that level that you'd hope I don't know whether it had to or didn't, but this will at least, when they bring those letters in, right, that it brings to the forefront of what the issue is and that addressing and questions after the answer.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll keep an eye on that, certainly, as things are going forward. I was sold that Deshaun Watson's going to play quarterback because he has a skill that not many people have, and that usually seems to play out for some strange reason. I don't know why that is.
Especially in the NFL.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Which is the empire.
Yeah, it's really weird how that always seems to work out, but I don't have the answers to that. When we come back, the Washington football team, we'll continue this little football team. The Washington football team is trying to decide on a name. Andy Dalton's out here talking crazy talk. I want to get Joique's thoughts.
Is it crazy talk? Man, I don't think it's crazy.
All right, well, hey.
I don't think it's crazy.
We'll rap about it when we come back. It's Big D Energy. Neal Ruhl, Joique Bell, Darren McCarty right here on Woodward Sports Network.
You know why realtors love using Hall Financial as a lender? Because of our commitment to speed and service. We have nearly 4,000 five-star reviews already. Call today, 248-308-5000, or go to callhallfirst.com.
Welcome back. Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neal Ruhl. He is Joique Bell. D-Mac, Darren McCarty as well. Happy to have you along for the ride. We've been talking a lot of football here as of late, and we're only gonna get more into it, man, because I see the finish line in sight, Joique. College football is going to be kicking off. I'm a huge college football guy. You talked about it. You were back in your day as well. I mean, there's nothing better, and as you know, we're at the MyBookie studios. We'll get into that too as the season goes on. We'll talk about the betting angles and stuff like that. We got some ideas D-Mac and I have kind of kicked about. I'm going to get you right, in case you get in some trouble on your Saturday. I'll get you right with a Mountain West special every
Hawaii,
Saturday night.
Baby, Hawaii.
We're going to be doing lots of San Jose State, lots of Hawaii, all of it. The bailout special.
We do the bailouts first. Okay, here's your bailout now. This is where you go.
But it's going to be one of those things. I'll give you the picks. I'll give you the Mountain West picks, but they're only in case of emergency break glass. Don't use it. Respect its power. If you had a bad Saturday, I'll get you right on Saturday night. You know the game I'm talking about, that Mountain West game on CBS Sports Network. We'll have that for you all season long. So make sure you catch that as we go on. But again, as we said, we're talking about football. The Washington football team. They claim that they have their name down to the final three.
Werewolves?
Red Wolves was in there.
Red Wolves. I would have gone werewolves.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's one of those things for the Washington football team. This is going to take on a life of its own, right? Like everyone's going to be, vested in this, and everyone's going to have a thought, and everyone's going to have an opinion. But I mean, you look at it for this is going to gather a lot of attention. There is no doubt about it. There's 3 finalists that have been selected. They haven't released what those 3 finalists are, but the 8 that were in consideration: the Washington Armada, the Washington Brigade, the Washington Commanders, the Washington Defenders, the Washington Presidents, the Washington Red Hogs, the Washington Red Wolves, and the Washington football team. Which one, Joique?
If I had to go with any one of those, it would have to be, I don't know. Red Wolves is more. It sounds more of a sports team, but for political reasons, you can also use the Washington Presidents.
The Red Wolves is a strong name.
I like that.
That's what I would go with.
I like that.
I would have gone werewolves, but red,
I think I'm with Joique. Like I think it should be I'm going Presidents.
Well, here's the one thing you would absolutely know when you hear Presidents which Washington you're talking about.
Right.
Not Washington State. Or you know what I'm saying? Like University of Washington.
Yeah, I mean, in the NFL, though, I'm guessing by now, but I don't know. Maybe you don't. But I'm a Washington Presidents guy.
Do you guys see any other teams in the NFL to where, is Lions offensive, is Bears offensive? Like we should make sure. Even I would say
Lions are offensive the way they've played for 50 years. But
I feel like Patriots is the next one to go. Honestly, we're going to end up getting rid of the New England Patriots, and they're going to be the New England, politically corrects.
New England Belichick's.
New England Belichick.
The hoodies? The New England hoodies?
Yeah, even that's offensive.
No, I don't think we're going to go quite that far, Art. But, for me.
Joique said, hey.
For me, it is. It's Washington Presidents for me.
20 years from now, you never know you'll never know how people feel in 20 years from now. That cancel culture.
that is true. But, do you guys ever get surprised by what we put in as sports fans, what we put into jerseys, what we put into names? You ever get surprised by how much fans talk about that, feel about it, discuss it?
No. I never did. No, I never did. You know what my focus was? My focus was getting ready for the next season. I never really looked into the jerseys, and it became more of a big hoopla when I walked away.
Right.
Yeah, so, no.
But did you ever put on a jersey? You don't have to name the team. Did you ever put on a jersey and you looked at it and you're like, "Wow, this sucks. This jersey sucks." You don't have to tell me the team. We don't got to put them on blast like that. Be real.
I'm being honest.
Yeah.
No, I've never played for a team with ugly jerseys. A team that really has some dope jerseys. Actually, Buffalo.
Saints.
No, Buffalo.
The Saints with that black and gold.
The black and gold ones are pretty tough.
That blue, red, and white that we had there, where they had it was pretty dope.
I think as a Lion and then putting on a Bears uniform, I mean, you had to do it to get that paid.
The Lions jersey when I left, when they had the all gray boys, those are nice.
You talking about the Thanksgiving ones?
Oh yeah, those are nice.
We need black and Honolulu blue.
We wanted
so
black,
bad.
but it was an issue where people had to okay it at the top and people wouldn't okay it or something like that. But I used to want the black jerseys or the black uniforms when I played.
Me too, like the Roy Williams era, that black one that they used to wear with the blue. No, that was
I always
sharp.
wanted to wear when I was in Calgary, we wore the retro blacks and they were cool with the horse head on it and stuff. I always wanted to wear the retro. I know they have the Red Wing retro one, but we never wore them in a game.
Yeah, and again, I kind of laugh at it because I feel dorky talking about it, but people like it, man. On the YouTube chat thread right now, people are coming through with their names that they think the Washington football team should be called the Washington Corruption, the Washington Fascists, the Washington Mighty Ducks, the Washington Monuments. I never understood why monuments didn't get any love.
The Washington dictatorship.
Well, yeah, what the lobbyist. That was actually one that I did kind of like, the Washington lobbyist. They give you money and you think a certain way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was something that I thought about. But the old school Lions jerseys are certainly getting some play on the discussion thread as well. Enjoy 2 times saying we already did the black jerseys, but again, I'm of that opinion too, Joique. I felt those.
I like those.
Yeah, Joique, you gotta, you had to do that with Nike. You had to hit Nike up and make that happen. You're deep in those streets.
You know what though? One thing that Nike used to do that I really liked was that if I was putting on some type of event, that whatever I donated, they would match whatever I donated to whatever organization or cause I wanted to donate to. That's one thing I liked about Nike. So shout out to Nike. We got to do some more work together.
You got my number, right?
Here's my number.
Yeah,
Call me,
you got to let them know. A couple other football notes here. The NFC East. We were talking about the Washington football team, and last year I wanted nothing more than the winner of that division to finish under 500. I got a thing, Joique, where I love under 500 teams being in the playoffs, and I want it. I want to see it again.
Why? Because that would be the only way the Lions could get in back in the day.
Well, no, it's not that. I enjoy that. And I don't know why. I don't know why I like it. It's just something I like, and especially too, Joique, with the way the NFL playoffs are set up, they get a home game. You can be 7-9 and win your division and get a home game. I love that.
Yeah, you can. You remember that one year that who was that? They went 7-9 and went to the playoffs and actually won the first playoff game. Was that that was Seahawks?
Yeah, it's happened. Yeah, I think it's happened more than once.
No, it was the Seahawks. And it's happened more than once, but it was the Seahawks when they won it. And people were like, why are they in it? But they actually did pretty good. I mean, I think they lost in the second round, but at least I think they won the first one. And so then you also have teams that might go 10-7, and go win the Super Bowl.
10-7 limo.
Let's go Lions! 10-7, baby.
10-6. I'm sorry.
Well, it's going to be 10-7 this year when the Lions go to the wild card and they win, and then they miraculously Tom Brady gets injured, and then all this and that, and the next thing you know, I've got my own Lions Super Bowl ring because
what about
I believe. Who? Fumble? Can't get away from getting sacked? Get out of here.
You know why he was
Lions,
getting sacked?
give me that ring, baby.
Protected.
You know why he was getting sacked?
No protection.
Because he was terribly protected and because he was running instead of throwing.
Why was he terribly protected? Why?
Wait until the Lions defense get after him. He'll be terribly protected.
Because a #1 overall draft pick got hurt.
Crack man,
and
call me, baby.
Two guys.
He had two
left side guys.
And one of which was the #1 overall draft pick. So yeah, that'll hurt. You know what's funny though? Because I have to stand up and say I got that one wrong because I was still convinced Kansas City was going to win. Was still convinced of it just because of Mahomes.
But you know what's crazy about that game is it got rough really quick. Like they were in it for maybe a whole 5 minutes, and then you could just tell like Brady had just a laser, and Mahomes just was circling around trying to not get hit.
And you know what's crazy? Even with you saying all of that, he was still throwing catchable balls.
Well, the catchable is debatable. He was throwing passes while getting knocked into the sideline.
Running for his life.
Running for his life.
But catchable balls.
I wouldn't say a catchable ball. I would say luck played a lot into him even being able to get those passes.
You know what's crazy? The harder he works, the luckier he gets.
It is. It's funny. It's funny.
He was so lucky he lost.
It's funny. The harder he worked, the luckier you get.
And he still lost. I mean, you can't say that the Kansas City line was protecting him at all because he was literally running for his life.
We're not saying that. We're saying
that's why I said you can't.
It's a totally different game. It's a totally different game. But you know what? Tom Brady won, and you know what they say: you never bet against Tom Brady.
That's right.
And I will never apologize for a team having injuries because that's the nature of the game.
Well, we're going to continue the football discussion when we come back. There is a guy that I bet against, that I would certainly bet against, and I think a lot of people would. And if you were in that life, you probably made a lot of money betting against this guy. Andy Dalton is in the news, so we're going to discuss. I mean, I don't know if Joique's getting the 30,000 foot of where I'm coming from, and Joique might be right, but I think in the end, I'll be right. We'll discuss when we come back. It's Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Back at it here on the Woodward Sports Network. It is Big D Energy. My name is Neal Ruhl, television voice of the Oakland Golden Grizzlies, Detroit City FC. Also do soccer on ESPN. He is Joique Bell, 20-plus touchdowns in the National Football League. 4 Stanley Cups over here for this guy, Darren McCarty. Art has an 810 prefix cell phone. Out of Flint Town.
Flint Town.
Pick somebody's phone up at the rest stop.
Real quick, Lynn on Facebook said, Joique, just put your feet up and chill.
No,
it's the seats. It's the seats.
The man's got popcorn. He's got air conditioning. They brought 2 air conditioning units just for you, and they gave him the DMAC, the right guy, to give him 2.
Yeah, they're not on me. They're on D-Mac.
You know what? I don't know why I kiss D-Mac's ass so much, because the second Joique says something against me, D-Mac gets on that train.
I just keep the truth. Accountability, Art. I play it straight down the middle.
No,
you never know where you stand. No, so it's always like, a little self-check.
Thank God Neal's here to break the athlete versus TD over here. Thank you, Neal.
Oh, don't put yourself in Neal's category. Yeah. He's way above you.
Now, Art, you're my guy.
Yeah.
But hold the phone, bro.
Hold the phone.
All right. Yeah.
I just want to be like you, Dad.
That's
that.
Don't do that. No, don't do that.
Is this your daddy?
Yeah.
No, don't. Now you're making it weird.
Art, I'm your father.
Art, you said, Art.
Yeah, I'm here.
Now be quiet or I'm going to son you.
Oh. We can do a rap battle. I've got bars for days.
Because you're young. You're
the 40s, yeah.
Yeah, you're mid-40s, and you're 31.
He would have had to have been 9 when he had me.
No, it wouldn't be 9. It wouldn't be 9. 13, 14.
No, I'm 31.
Right, and he's...
Oh, he's 4. I thought he was 52.
Okay, Art. Art, you better be careful, bro.
Ooh, he's throwing
He
them
doesn't
low
even
blow.
know, Neal. That's the thing. I mean, you got like, all nice and sweet and whatever like that. You're gonna do it to yourself, and I'm gonna just sit back and laugh.
It's just me against the world.
Oh, you are.
We gotta
Flint
get
Town. It's Flint against everybody.
Flint against the world, man.
Flint against the world.
It certainly is. I did want to touch on this, though, because it really, really made me laugh, and it's probably going to make a lot of you laugh out there as well. Andy Dalton, he's in Chicago right now. We all know they drafted Justin Fields, which will be another one of those players that Penei Sewell's lined up against, Joique. I mean, that's the way the draft works. I think for Lions fans, Justin Fields will be one of those guys that they'll line Sewell up against Justin Fields and see how everything plays out. Not today, not tomorrow, but going forward. That's what you sign up for in this league. Andy Dalton was given a press conference at Chicago Bears camp. His quote was, "Justin's going to have a great career, but right now is my time." And look, Joique, I have a feeling I know what you're going to say. And he's got to be that, right? Like, he's got to come in and he's got to believe it. More than just say it. He has to believe it because that's where those guys live. Yeah. But just off of, and they say you can't judge things off of one preseason game. I saw tools out of Justin Fields that Andy Dalton is not capable of. And while that might be the case for game one, it might be the case to start game two, we will see Justin Fields sooner rather than later for the Bears, right?
It all depends on how Andy Dalton plays. Does Justin Fields see the field? The Bears starts off 2-0, 3-0. They start the season off 6-2. I mean, does he see the field? Does he? What are we looking at here? Are we looking at wins or are we looking at quarterback stats?
I think both things can be true with that. I mean, because if you don't have the wins, what else are you going to look at, right?
Well, here's the
wins.
thing.
You got the wins. And if the wins, and offensively, if they're scoring offensively, and they're winning games, and say they're averaging, 21 to 24 points a game offensively, that's not terrible. That's pretty good.
But you have to remember last year, though, the Bears started out 3-0, and they made the switch.
Here's your thing. Here's your question, right? You said you saw the things. Now, is he able to put that all together and be consistent so it's just not the flashes like we saw with a Josh Allen his first few years to go through that? Dalton knows what he's up against, but he also knows this is his time to go out there and get a job done. And, in the long run, if a kid who's got that talent and then he's battling consistency in any sport or learning how to do it, it'll make it easier in the long run, and it's just a matter of time. But I agree, it dictates on how the Bears are doing and on the progress of Justin Fields. Is it one of those things that when he's ready, he gets the job regardless? I don't know. You have to ask Matt Nagy, but
right, and that'll be the question.
Not going to go away quietly, right?
Right, and don't get me wrong. Like, I understand, Andy Dalton was a $150 million contract guy, and like you have to have a belief, you have to have a swagger in yourself to put yourself in that position, and he has had success on the field. I mean, I'm not out here bashing the guy. He had moments in Cincinnati. I mean, they never materialized in much the same fashion that Detroit fans are looking for the Lions to take that kind of step. But with all that being said, I get it, Joique. I get that he has to think that way. I get that he's got that swag, and it's earned because of what he's accomplished in this league from a financial perspective. But you tell me, you saw the plays. Andy Dalton and Fields, there's no comparison. In terms of where they are right now, in terms of how dynamic they can both be respectively. I mean, what did you see from what we saw of Justin Fields in that first game? Did you see anything that makes you believe?
It was the first preseason game. Now, if I'm a scout and I'm watching that, he made some good plays.
Put the scouting hat on.
But put the scouting hat on. I want to see him under pressure. I want to see him against a top-notch defense. I want to see him against a Baltimore defense, a Saints defense, a Steelers defense. That's what I want to see him against. I don't want to see him in preseason.
Which I get. And that's the step.
But at the end of the day, this is all I have to go off of. And if I have to go off of that, he made some good plays. And was it just good plays? Was it also great offensive calls when guys are wide open down the middle of the field? All right. Some decent throw, good accuracy. I saw some good things out of him. I have to see more before I can say he's going to take Andy Dalton's spot, because Andy Dalton, he's a proven vet, and I understand he hasn't had the great last couple of years, but still, he's been a starting quarterback in this league for quite some time. And so he knows this league. He has the experience. And this is the type of guy you want to start the season and get some of that experience, some of that knowledge off to the younger guy. I don't know how fast Fields will take to it, but he's doing well so far. But if we want to talk about young guys, let's talk about Chicken Trey. I like Trey Lance.
You're on record. I mean, you've shoved all in Trey Lance, Rookie of the Year, and Joique Bell's ballot already. I mean, you've pushed all the chips in the middle of the table on him.
This is what happens.
Right,
but what happens.
Because my whole thing with the Andy Dalton thing is this: you look at what the Bears gave up to bring in Khalil Mack. They backed up the truck, man. They backed up the Brinks truck and unloaded serious draft assets. And Khalil Mack's 30 now, man. Like it's go time for them. It is, because not only did you have the draft capital that they used to acquire him, you have the financial impact of his contract, the big time money they're paying him. The clock is ticking quickly on Khalil Mack. It's go time.
He's still playing at a high level. He's playing at a high level right now.
Absolutely.
And so I don't see any drop off. He's one of those players, just be on the field. He's going to make plays. I remember when we played with Calvin. We told Calvin, listen, before he retired, next year we don't need you. We just need you on the field. Be healthy enough to be on the field.
Right.
And, he's one of those type of players. Khalil Mack is one of those type of players. He can go out there and he can be disruptive.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. If I'm the Bears, if I'm Matt Nagy, kind of like what D-Mac said, if I'm the Bears, I'm very cognizant of this, that Khalil Mack, the clock is ticking with him. He's 30. Once you get that north side of 30, those seconds, they tick quicker off the clock. I mean, there's no question about it. It's just, given what I've sunk into this, I'm not playing around where the second Andy Dalton's not getting it done. I'm taking my guy that I took in the first round with our first-round draft pick.
I'm going to tell you this. When you hit 30, you know what you come into? You come into your old man strength. You come into your old man strength. You know that old man strength?
Absolutely.
When you strong, you been in the weight room working out, but that grandfather.
But your dad can still take you.
No. Your grandfather come, he grabs you.
Absolutely.
And D-Mac know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. And I think that, to your point, Neal, they're in a win-now mentality, so if Fields gives them the best chance to win when he does. If it's not Dalton, because Nagy's on the hot seat anyway. So they got to make moves now. And the fact that they're more disappointed than we are about Aaron Rodgers coming back, because they had their sights set.
They had the smell right there going. They did.
It still should be good. I mean, you can't count the Bears team out. And
people forget they were in the playoffs last year. Like we always sleep on them all the time, and we always think. And my buddies, I got a buddy of mine that's ride or die Lions guy. I mean, he's all in all the time, and every year he says he's not going to get all in, and then you guys, you want to get together? You want to watch a game? Like, he's all in all the time. He was just crushed when it was announced Rodgers was coming back. But he even sleeps on the Bears every year. He's like, well, we should be level with Chicago. And there's the Bears in the playoffs. Every now and then they always seem to do it, man. They always do. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, on this day in sports, Larry Bird called it quits, and I have to come clean. I have a Larry Bird confession that I have to give to everybody out there. We'll catch up with Matt Langton, the Executive Vice President of Sales and Strategy here at Detroit Manufacturing Systems, where we are. It's Big D Energy on the Woodward Sports Network. Welcome back to Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, Joique Bell, Darren McCarty. Happy to have you along. Arturo, Flint's very own, producing. So is Fish. He's in the bowl. And in just a couple seconds, as promised, we're going to be joined by Matt Langton, the Executive Vice President of Sales and Strategy here at Detroit Manufacturing Systems. But Tom Mazway hooked me up with this little nugget. This day in sports, back on August 19th, 1992, Larry Bird called it quits. He hung him up. And I do want to ask both of you guys this, because for me, Larry Bird, and I didn't do it so much with Michael Jordan because you had to respect Michael Jordan. Larry Bird is the guy, I hated so much when Celtics were on TV, I turned the channel. I hated Larry Bird that much. And as I've gotten older, a little bit more intelligent, a little more wise, I wish I didn't do that. You guys have anybody where you hated so much as a kid, if they came on TV, you turned it off?
No, I didn't.
No? Love all, respect it all?
Yeah, I didn't. I don't think I was that big of a team fan or a fan to be like, I hate this guy. Usually those type of guys that you hate are guys that did something to your sports team.
Larry Bird to the Pistons.
Yeah. I remember we had my good friend Sean Bleach on the show. He hated the Bears. He hated the Bears. He hated the 85 Bears.
Which I did too.
Because he was everything he wanted. And so usually guys who have what you want, you envy them.
How about you, D-Mac? Do you have anybody? I know hockey hits different for Canadians.
Yeah, it's different because it sort of more of the Maple Leafs as I got older. Grew up watching Hockey Night Canada, but the more I became a Wings fan. Montreal, it's because the arrogance of the fans that I grew up with in Canada where we grow up. So I don't know, turn it off, but just wanted to stick it to him.
Yeah, I mean, I turned Larry Bird off all the time, and looking back on it, that was a stupid move on my part because I missed a lot of greatness, and he's somebody I have to give.
LeBron's like that sometimes for me, depending on who he's playing, just depending on what it is, because you can just see the way it's gonna play out if what mood he's in.
Yeah.
Right? So and also too, if he's going off, sometimes in the face of somebody else where he's making a point. I mean, that's must-see TV, and I don't know if you like it or not, but he's doing his thing.
I'm going to tell you right now, LeBron is a guy that when he retires, we need to appreciate his talent. That's another guy like
D-Max, it's going down his Larry Bird avenue for D-Mac. Yeah, absolutely.
No, you got to respect what obviously, Kate Cunningham obviously came out, and that's his GOAT. Right? We're growing up. He came out and said that over Jordan. So it's, again, personal opinion.
Absolutely. Right now, as promised, we're joined by Matt Langton. He's the Executive Vice President for Sales and Strategy right here at Detroit Manufacturing Systems. And, Matt, appreciate you carving out a couple of minutes to join us. Big-time show you guys are putting on out here, rebranding the company, everything like that. And I talked about this with Ben earlier. When I walked in the doors here, I got that feeling because both my parents worked in manufacturing as well. It took me back to that time. I mean, you have over 1,100 employees here. This is Detroit, as we said earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thanks for you guys coming out today to join us. And it's really important for our community here. And that's when you think about Detroit Manufacturing Systems, it's really about our culture. And if you guys got a chance to go on the floor today, I don't know if you got an opportunity to do that when you saw the people here. Probably one of the most engaged workforces I've ever had a pleasure to work with. And I've had an opportunity to go to manufacturing facilities all over the world, and probably the best, most engaged workforce is right here in Detroit.
I think we saw that with your luncheon and your sort of get-together with the rebranding, talking earlier about the design and how it sort of, to me, represents the technology, Detroit, speed, everything like that. I said, you look like Star Trek guys. You're going to tell Scotty to beam you up. But how about for you personally during this COVID and everything like that? What has been the challenges to keep that morale up? And obviously when they have that, it's an example. I preach culture, you use my word, because I believe that we're trying to set that as Woodward Sports, watching broadcasting and trying to tell about the cultures that each of the individual sports teams, but talk about what the culture and just sort of your job, because the camaraderie, and we see it even being in there, but just to throw this party and stuff, and for you being the executive VP of sales and strategy, talk about some of the maybe the difficulties, but what makes it work so well here.
Well, I tell you, COVID really, for a lot of different reasons, threw us for a loop, right? We really thrive on the engagement with our employees. Lots of these types of events with the employees throughout the year, whether it's holidays or through the summer, beanbag tournaments. We spend a lot of time with our people. So COVID presented the challenge of all of a sudden you can't do that any longer. And so as a team, we started to look at ways that we can still try to capture some of that interaction with our people, even though we couldn't have those events any longer. So we still did euchre tournaments, online euchre tournaments with our people.
Nice.
We had our fantasy football league that we did with the people. Anytime that we could get together in smaller groups, we did that. So it was a conscious effort during COVID to try to maintain some of that culture. And the people that are employed here are impacted even greater by COVID than what we see in some of the rest of the population. And we really felt for some of the impact for them and their families, and we tried to do the best we can in keeping some of the culture going, even during a very difficult time. It's great to be out here today, have everybody back out, that you can have that interaction, because you can feel the momentum that we can generate with our team here.
You can feel the vibe. I can feel the vibe just being around it.
Now you have 1,100 employees here, like, and running a company can be tough, right? It's one of the toughest things. How do you keep your employees motivated?
Great question. It's not the basic things have to be there. Okay, everybody gets a paycheck. We offer benefits and 401ks, things. Everybody does that.
That's your cover charge to walk into the party.
That's the table stakes, right? That has to be there when you get there. But really, what makes the difference is the investment that we'll put back into our employees. We've relaunched our DMS Academy. We'll teach courses. We want you to succeed as a person. Whether you can torque a screw into an instrument panel, whether you can put a wire harness through, that's great. We hopefully develop those skill sets, but we want you to develop as a person. And so we're happy when somebody comes to us and uses our academy to go become an entrepreneur. We've helped support some of our people go and start their own businesses, because when the community benefits, we all benefit. And that's I think that's when you look at DMS and finding ways to be beyond what's on the table stakes, try to engage people, give them an opportunity that they wouldn't normally have. That's what we're all about, and that's the bet that we're making here, is that by providing a culture that has a purpose, that people can be the best, boldest, and most authentic version of themselves. If we can do that, then we'll succeed at what we're trying to do.
So Matt, lastly here, before we let you go, and again, appreciate your time, as we talked about the Executive Vice President, Sales and Strategy. So my question to you would be, so strategy. You guys are a company, we talked about 1,100 employees, wildly successful, over $1 billion in gross revenue per year. You work with the best names in the automotive industry, in Ford and Fiat Chrysler, Volvo. What's the strategy going forward, man? I mean, how do you keep turning that up a couple of notches?
It's pretty straightforward, actually. So do more what we do well, right? So let's continue to service the customers that we have. Look for ways that we can service them better. Continue to grow that part of our business. Look to bring in new automotive customers that we're not doing business with today. We're also looking at taking our unique capabilities that we have and going outside of the automotive industry into healthcare and defense and in some of the other industries, because there's a need for the type of services that we provide. We're really a service provider. We provide manufacturing services, and that transfers across multiple industries. And we'll continue to do what we do well with our automotive partners, and we'll continue to look for other opportunities as we go.
Yeah, so when you look at this type of industry, there's a lot of different manufacturers around the country, around the world. What makes you guys competitive? What do you guys bring to the table that other people don't? Is that a secret that you guys keep in-house?
No. The secret is the people. And I'm going to sound like a broken
Which isn't
record.
really a secret, right.
It's how do we develop, engage, and have people perform at their highest possible level? Just like we talk about for sports, right?
Right.
How do you engage people to perform at their highest possible level? And that's our challenge.
It's true compassion, bro. True compassion, the win-win, and love it, and love. It makes me feel good to be a part of that, and that's what we're trying to grow, and that's what this city and It's awesome to be here and awesome what you guys do.
Thank you.
No question about that. Detroit Manufacturing Systems. Look them up online. Get on the website if this sounds like the type of environment you want to be in. We know what the labor market is right now. If you're looking for a career change, you want to jump in somewhere where you feel like you fit, go to the website and get that process rolling. I know they're always looking for good people. You're always looking for good people. Absolutely. That's even in a tight labor market. You're always looking for good people. Matt Langton, appreciate your time. Thanks a lot.
You guys.
Thanks. Matt.
Absolutely. That is Matt Langton, the Executive Vice President, Sales and Strategy for Detroit Manufacturing Systems. As we wrap up the show here, Big D Energy. I know the weekend's on the horizon, D-Mac. What do you got going on this weekend?
Yeah, we're going to maybe we'll get into it tomorrow. I got some clips. I'm wrestling. Well, this weekend I got a couple charity events to do. But next Thursday, got a big wrestling match, true wrestling match, like the TV stuff. Yeah, the scripted stuff. But it still hurts. So we'll talk a little bit about that tomorrow. Fill everybody in.
Absolutely. So that'll be going on. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. You got anything else, Joique?
One thing he said about when I asked him, like, what's the secret? And it's just how he responded reminded me of Kung Fu Panda. When no, it really did. When he said, what's the secret ingredient to my secret ingredient soup? And at the end of the movie, it comes out that there was no secret ingredient. It was just how he made it with love. Yep. And so basically, it's just the employees. They do their job with love.
Absolutely.
And it shows no work.
Gosh darn it, man. Anytime we get Kung Fu Panda in here at the end of the show,
it was a damn good day.
It's got to be a great day. Right?
Yeah, we dared to be great today, Arturo. We certainly did. Appreciate all the YouTube comments, all the social media comments. You guys make this thing go. So certainly we're happy to read those. Make sure you stay engaged with the show. If you haven't downloaded it yet, download the Woodward Sports app as well in the App Store, in the Google Play Store. So for Arturo, Fish, Joique Bell, Darren McCarty, my name is Neal Ruhl. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Well, see you later.